Well, hello everybody. Happy Tuesday. So, I have a guest on my channel, on my live stream, on my show today, Ricky. So, super excited to have you here tonight. Tonight, well, it's like 4 my time. So, what we're going to talk about today, how to get help in tech and as a software developer. And we're also going to talk about iOS development and all that fun stuff. But before we jump into everything, Ricky, like, why don't you just like go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us about who you are and what you do and why you're here.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, Eugene. It's exciting. I think this is one of my first lives, so definitely excited for this. I'm an iOS developer, been an iOS developer for about 3 years now, and pretty enjoy it. I'm really into UI kit. Got into it because I wanted to start creating and start developing apps. I started getting a whole bunch of ideas, so I wanted to dive into the software side of things and start creating. So I've been enjoying it so far, and it's been a great journey, and hopefully continuing to grow my career in it.
Nice. So, you said something that is really intriguing to me because, like, when I talk to iOS developers, people say like, "Oh, I'm really into UI, Swift UI." Why UI kit? Why not Swift UI?
Um, to be honest, when I first started learning, I kept seeing like I guess well, Swift UI was just starting off, I guess, when I first started learning. It was still had like a lot of bugs, so it's definitely changed in the last 2 years. Um, but I definitely wanted to focus on one first, and then I knew I was gonna transition into Swift UI probably during the future. So I think I started with UI Kit just because I didn't want to work backwards, like start with Swift UI and then work to
Hmm.
UI Kit, which makes no sense in my words. I think in my mind. So I wanted to start with UI Kit and then progress into Swift UI.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's I think it's a logical thing. Well, I talked to somebody who is learning iOS develop or who was learning development, and that person started with Swift UI, and it's kind of my recommendation. Like, start with Swift UI, and he said like, well, UI kit is actually easier than Swift UI. It's a bunch of like closures, there's a bunch of like brackets. I don't understand what it is doing and why it is doing so. And with UI kit, like, I kind of control everything and I
Mhm.
kind of like just put pieces together, and I'm the boss. I'm calling the shots. So the system won't decide for me how it's gonna lay it out. And he made a lot of sense. So, like, you know what? Like, that does make a lot of sense because declarative programming is like basically you just put what you want, but you don't say how to do that. So,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's really fascinating. So let's dive into our topic today. What I'm seeing in tech a lot, because like I'm a coach in tech and I've been helping software developers since 2016, 2017 as a mentor at my jobs, at different like networking events. And this is how I started my YouTube channel back in the day. Um, and what I'm seeing in tech right now, people don't know how to ask for help, and they're or when they do ask for help, they they don't do it effectively. So they kind of like they kind of just either do like a resume slap, right? Like, hey, like, this is my resume, and shows like, so like, help me to get a job, or like, this is my code, like, please review my code. Or like they just don't ask for help at all, or like they start a conversation about help and then they drop it. So this is why I wanted to really do a live stream about it and talk about it. So, and as you're joining, so just as Ashley did, say hello in the chat because let's network. So I have a Ricky on my channel, and Ricky is my client. So You're gonna have all of the inside scoop, what it is like to be inside of Career Legacy, how it is like to work with me. And he is one of four iOS developers in my program right now. So this is super exciting. Um, but the first question I wanted to ask you, how like what are the best way to ask for help in your opinion in tech?
Um, I think for me, I think the best way to do it is, I think it's like for me, it was an uncomfortability factor. I think it's just because like I'm a developer and you're like always trying to figure out things yourself and like kind of self teach. So for me, it's just kind of getting out of that comfort zone and kind of asking for the help that you need or trying different things that you haven't been trying. So definitely just reaching out and being able to just ask different things that you haven't tried, I guess, or reach out to people that have experience in it.
Yeah, and you know, I think also I when it comes to like asking for help, it comes to like first of all, be vigilant when it's out there because there are people and there are resources available to you, right? There are free resources, there are paid resources because a lot of people think that help should be free. Help can be paid, help can be free. And my personal experience, I always got a lot more help, a lot more specialized help when I actually invested in myself to move forward. So, and speaking of that, when somebody says, hey, and it can be like whatever situation it might be, let's say a recruiter or somebody say, hey, I'm available to do X, Y, and Z. If you need help with X, Y, and Z, I'm ready to help. Raise your hand. Then that person basically gave you permission to reach out to them. Like, for example, a lot of the time and like I'm probably gonna do today too. A lot of the time during my live streams, I say, hey, if you like if you need to figure out your career situation, if you want to develop your leadership skills, if you want to be the go-to expert in your industry, um my help is available. I do have a coaching program, so and we can figure it out. Just raise your hand, and this is the permission to actually initiate that conversation. The same thing with recruiters. When somebody said, hey, I have a position, and then they give you instruction, either DM me or apply using this link or drop your email in the comments or whatever it might be. Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it, and it can be like as simple as that. It can it can be as simple as that. So I like and sorry, like I see like I'm checking my text, so I'm getting notifications that somebody is commenting, but like the line LinkedIn and StreamYard is having problem displaying comments. Hey, keep commenting, keep your comments coming, but like if I can pull it up, I can, but like if I'm not pulling your comment, it's because simply technical difficulties. So this is like one thing, like be vigilant what people say out there and what people have available out there because um, um the help is available to you and the resources are available to you. So what is your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think it's just like you said, there's a lot of help that you can find. So I think it's just something that you have to like kind of do your research on almost. Kind of like, I mean, that's how I found you. Like I took my time like looking you up, reading more into you. I even reached out to one of your clients and I had like a 20-minute call and just asked them questions like, oh, how did you like it? How was your experience? Uh, and just trying to figure out, I mean, we had that coaching session as well, that 30-minute coaching session. And I think just to make sure that you're on the right page with that person and like that the goals align and just setting that expectation. and just making sure that the help that you're getting is what you want and what you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you're absolutely right. And I don't know, when I look back at our experience, like you're like one of the perfect clients. You use the link in my bio. I think it was on Twitter or somewhere else, and I'm like, oh, like that was unexpected, and it happened to me like a few times before. Like, okay, yeah, like this is what people like should use, right? Like it is available, and some people have like they may not be sure, like can I send a DM or not? Because sometimes, like I think in the past few years, people say, "Oh, well, don't DM me, don't message me," which is not my case. Like DM me and message me. My DMs are wide open. But like, yeah, you fill out the form, you answer the questions, and it was so much easier to actually have that conversation about your what do you want in your career, what is in the way, and how I can fix it. And I'm provided the way like how to fix it. And when you ask for additional resources, like hey, like it's a big decision, and it's like it is an investment, and I would like to talk to your clients. Like I connected with you with one of my iOS clients, and it's absolutely right. But I think where people go left when it comes to like asking for help, they either don't ask for help and they don't say nothing, or they ask for help when people didn't give them permission to ask for help, or not in the way that that person expects to help you, right? So it's like, I don't know, like for example, in the past, right, people would just send me a DM and say, hey, do you have any jobs available for me? And like, I don't know how to move forward from that. Like, no, I don't have any jobs available, right? Because even like in the past, right? I don't know who you are. I don't know your experience. Like, we're not connected. Or like, like you literally just landing on my page. I know nothing about you, and or like people would just do like so much extra, like instead of like just following the rules. For example, recruiter said like apply for a link below, and people would just go extra and like send her resume and just bombard with cover letter and all that stuff. But it may not be the way that recruiter wants to review the application, because there's a process and there's a time, and like uh, the matter of efficiency for that recruiter too. So um also, um Ricky, I'm curious, in your experience, and like, if you can share, like, this is absolutely optional question. How did you ask for help in the past, like in your tech career?
No, I was definitely part of that first group that you were talking about, like not asking for help just because I thought, I got interviews and things like that, but I just never thought that I needed it. I felt like, or like I would just eventually figure it out on my own. Uh, Up until like the point like where I'm just like, it kind of felt like I was in a loop almost. Like I think it just finally hit me like, hey, I really do need help to like figure this out, and like how do I progress? So I think yeah, not being stuck in that loop, and kind of realizing, and I
Hmm.
think just in general, just you're gonna need help eventually, even in the future, even after, you're definitely gonna need help. So it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely. It's okay to ask for help. So, and like in the work environment, right? You normally want to try a few things and kind of come prepared, instead of like tasking people, hey, like I have this task, help me do this task. Like, tell them what you've tried before, even like just a little bit, and or like come prepared and say, hey, I do not understand where this is, and where that is, so I need your help to kind of like help me to understand how to move forward, or like what are my further steps should be. And also, like, it depends on the culture of that place as well. So, because I definitely know companies and teams where like asking for help is like low key discouraged. Like, oh, let us know if you need help, but actually don't ask for help because we're gonna give you hell, and like nobody's gonna actually help you rather than just hey, go look at the code, which is which is probably another topic for another live stream, because I can talk about what how tech can be better like literally forever. So um I would like to switch our conversation a little bit, and you are my client. So I'm curious. What is your like? First of all, what really motivated you to really like go ahead and fill out the application and really initiate the whole process? What was your deciding factor?
For me, it was, I mean, I tried tutoring before as well. So I think having that 30-minute meeting and just hearing you out and the breakdown, I guess, that you've had for like the weeks, I think that the ultimate decision was that, just like that you had like this roadmap and that I felt like I aligned perfectly with it. It wasn't like with my previous tutors where I just kind of went in and kind of me asking for like not me asking for the help, but like I don't know the roadmap to do it. So it's like hard for me to tell the tutor, hey, like I just felt like you had that roadmap, the way that you explained it to me. It's like, okay, I could see the vision and I think that was the deciding factor that, you were gonna give me the roadmap and you were gonna
Hmm.
help me along the way. All I just needed to do is put myself out there and start doing those things. And I think that's what drew me to it. Like, okay, this is what you need to do, not me saying, hey, I need help with this, this, and this. So I think
Hmm.
that was the main decision.
This is so true because you don't know what you don't know, and this is what I also hear from other people who work with mentors or tutors or coaches, that sometimes when they come to like a coaching call, they're like, well, what do you want to talk about? And for me, like, I know what we're going to talk about. And actually, like, as you join, I made a significant improvement, because I might have people at different levels or at different points in their journey, and I put together a curriculum, like core video lessons that you absolutely must follow. And once you implement that, because like this is the core component, and on the coaching sessions, right, we go deeper, we dive deeper, because like even like when it's like just sampling, because our previous session we just started like um diving into how to talk to recruiters and what can be disqualifying factor at the get-go for you, and it was so insightful. But like again, like those like that curriculum, that like clear roadmap, that clear framework, that definitely helps. Also, um since you enroll, right, and I know we work for like probably a month and a half already. What was your experience so far?
I mean, yeah, it's been crazy. It's been amazing just because I've gotten like so many connections and so many um, new great conversations that I've been having with people and just recruiters reaching out to me as well and being able to have those conversations. Uh, so I think that was like the biggest eye opener, like just implementing the things that we learned and just kind of doing them. Just yeah, shot my like connections and what do you call that, impressions and connectivity in LinkedIn,
Yeah.
just getting my name out there. Yeah, I just connected with so many people and also had great conversations with them as well. So I think that was those are some of the biggest things that I'm seeing. Just making great connections and
Yeah, yeah. And um also, for the people who say Oh, I can do it on my own, or oh, I rather like, because sometimes like I hear a lot from people like I like I need to practice on my own, or I'm like I just need to nail down my leak code questions, or like I know how to talk to people. But when I look at their like profiles, or like over a period of time, like they're not making as much progress, or not as quickly as you are all doing in the program. So what would you say to those people?
I would say, like, if you're doing it by yourself, I mean, it's gonna be hard because just because you have another set of eyes, somebody that's been doing it. Um, I think, let me think about that, because I think it's important to see, like, that you're, when it comes to like LinkedIn and stuff, there might be like things that you don't know or you haven't tried, or maybe you're writing things a certain way that like you're not getting responses back, or you're connecting with people, but you're not getting much out of it. Because that was an issue that I was having as well. Like it's easy to just go to somebody's page and kind of connect. Um, but then, I think just sending up a follow-up message and just kind of interacting with people, I think it's super important. So that's something that I've had to get out of my comfort zone to do. Like, really just have a conversation and get to know that person that you're connecting with. Um, so I think it's just like little things that you have to really adjust, like that you don't even think about. So I think just having like your eyes, and just kind of show me those things, it really helped me out in those sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I'm curious, what sometimes also like when I talk to people, they say stuff like, "Oh, it's too expensive," right? And like and sometimes it is like different people can have like a different like situation, like money situation. Some people like really don't have any savings or any like access to like literally anything, and it's really sad. But majority of us, because like when I look at my clients, right, majority of my clients got laid off. And like this is like the my program is focused on leadership skills and positioning yourself as a subject matter expert. And it's definitely helps with the like job emergency when like or career emergency when you got laid off, or when you got like pushed out of your craft and you have hard time like getting back into tech. But for people who say like, well, it's too expensive, what would you say to them?
Um, I mean, it's an investment. You really have to think about, other people's time and like the time that they put into doing things. I mean, it's similarly. I wouldn't compare it to. I mean, you could compare it to it like a gym coach. If you go to a gym coach, you have to pay for them, and they're going to be pushing you and giving you the steps on how to do things. So it's very similar in this sense. It's an investment on myself, but also I also think about it in the long run. Like I don't see myself just doing this now. I can see myself having to do this even in the future, like 5 to 10 years down the road. Um, so it's definitely an investment, not just for now. It's definitely an investment in my career and like my future. So that's the way that I look at it. I mean, I'm investing in money now to grow my future.
Yeah. And like this is like you really pointed this out beautifully, because um the return on investment is like really your transformation. And it's really like, and when you say best yes to yourself, then you act differently, because uh people who pay money pay attention, because you probably heard before like, oh, optimize your LinkedIn profile. Oh, put quantifiables in your resume. Oh, do X, Y, and Z. But like, you really like, did you like, did you do it? Like, or did you do it correctly? But when people like and also like, I also want to debunk the myth that it is like too expensive, because when you're planning like a mini vacation, like in the US, like let's say, I don't know, like you're going to like, I don't know, Las Vegas or Miami for the weekend for like not expensive hotel at all, like it's gonna be the same or close to that amount of money that like you pay for a coaching program. So like if you like it's also the matter of priority, right? Like you we can find money for like pleasure and leisure, which is absolutely necessarily, we should do that, we should reward ourselves, but it's also like it's investment in our future, because after a vacation, like yeah, you will be recharged and it's a good experience, but also it is your career, right? And if nothing is moving in your career as fast as you possibly want, or like you finding yourself not moving forward in a way, like in your promotion and your leadership skills, in like in landing the opportunities that you really want, then it's probably the time to ask for help, because you can only Google for so long, you can only wait and postpone your future for so long, and eventually, eventually it's going to be not a good situation overall. Like, it's just in my opinion, because I'm kind of in your like shoes too, because I just enroll, I just paid $9,000 for my program, and because I wanted to say best yes to myself, because I wanted to be here a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, I want to sustain my business. And even when even after my enrollment, something, when you really invest in yourself, something happens inside of you. And also, like, I can't afford not to do the job. I just paid 9 grand, and like, yeah, I will do everything that I possibly can do, like, to get the results. So,
Mhm.
and that's kind of like back to my previous statement, when people pay money and invest in themselves, they do pay attention, and it's just how it works.
Mhm.
Also, what advice would you give to our viewers who are kind of like thinking about like maybe like investing in themselves, or like thinking about how they can propel in their career, how they can make their next career move? So what would you advise to them?
Yeah, my advice would be like, I think it just goes back to the investment part. Like, I think it's just important. There's so much that you can get for free, but I always feel like, when you pay for something, it's definitely more worth it, I would say. Almost like, you value it more almost. Like when something's free, it's like, you can't get everything given to you almost, is what I would say. So I think when you invest in yourself, it's a big deal. I think it's like what you said. Like I paid for the coaching session, but it's also a big investment in myself, and it's I have to do the work. You're just kind of giving me that push and kind of giving me the stepping stones. So I think it's just my advice would be like, if you want to continue to grow, I think it's you have to invest in yourself. There's so much that you can learn on for free on the internet. Um, but with everything, I think, eventually there's going to come a point where, it's going to be a good idea to like invest in yourself and like,
Hmm.
grow. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me pause right here, and I would like to ask my viewers. So, if you have questions for me or for Ricky, drop them in the chat. Drop them in the comments, because we would like to hear from you. And it's a networking event, because people, even people who are not exactly in my program, but we talk in the DMs, people would say, "Hey, I have so many connection requests. Like they're probably all of like from your program." Like, no, like I just have really amazing community of people. And when you show up and when you comment and when you like participate, people will connect with you. And like your next big opportunity is literally one connection away. So Rashad asked, how can we foster a culture of open communication and support in tech industry, where asking for help is seen as a sign of strength rather than weakness? I think we have to model that behavior ourselves. And we also have like this is goes back to your leadership. Asking for help is leadership. Asking for help is leadership, because if you don't ask for help in your team, nobody will. Nobody will know that you are struggling, and nobody will ask for help. Because what I notice in my teams, whenever I bring up issues, whenever I bring up stuff that needs to be resolved, people start asking for help. So I think the first step is model that behavior, so other people can see that it is okay to ask for help. So and also sometimes it's the matter of the culture, and sometimes the best thing that you can do, if the culture of that team is so taxing and so toxic, where you can really get help, where you can really collaborate, when you can really get help, the best thing that you can do is to search for your next opportunity where you really can foster that relationship. And like Seamus Black, I also like at the end of at the end of my curriculum, I talk about how you can actually search for jobs, and you can absolutely talk about it in the sessions when you have a job. Because like one thing, when like yeah, like you can post, you can publicly ask people for help and say, hey, I'm open for opportunities. But you can also privately market yourself and say, hey, I'm on the market, and privately ask for help. So like those are two channels. So any other questions? Any other questions? So also, if you're looking for an iOS developer, right? Uh Ricky is an amazing iOS developer. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he approaches development. And I think, like when it's so interesting, like especially nowadays when you talk to an iOS dev, and he says, well, UI kit is actually cool. And not because like we chase after shiny things like Swift UI. Everybody went Swift UI, and it is a future, so it's definitely something that like I would recommend you to like get
Oh,
on as soon as possible. But also, we have so many legacy apps, so much legacy code, where we have to know UI kit. And I think in the near future, you're gonna be one of the specialists who knows UI kit, and people will be searching for you, because all new developers, all older developers, they either transition into leadership, or they're starting their own business, or like what have you. But and new developers, they all like chasing UI or Swift UI. So I think at some point you will be one of those like rare developers where that recruiters are looking for you specifically, because not many people, like it's kind of like Objective C right now, right?
yeah,
Like when
right.
you know Objective C, you know Objective C, and like this,
Mhm.
those are very very specific roles. So as we're wrapping up, any final thoughts, like for our audience? Hey, Ricky, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, you just popped off for a second. Uh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no
Um,
worries.
any final thoughts before, like, as we're closing the live stream?
No, just thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure. It was awesome. Final thoughts, yeah, it's been great. If you are looking for an iOS developer, I'm here for you. To definitely connect, reach out. Even if you're not just if you just want to connect, you don't have to have a job. We could just connect and talk development. But yeah, it was great being here. It was fun, and hopefully do it again sometime in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the show. And also, if you need help, or if you're striving to be that leader, to be that the go-to expert, ask for help, and I'm available. My DMs are open. The link is in my bio, so you can either use the link as Ricky did, or you can just direct message me and we will go from there. This like help is absolutely available to you. And also, if we have not connected yet, connect with me. Also, connect with Ricky. Like, see, like my camera is like kind of mirroring a little bit, and like, okay, like I think Ricky, like from my side, you are there, but like I'm pointing the other way. So connect with Ricky, connect with me. If you need help, the help is available to you. And thank you so much all for your participation, for hanging out with us. And everybody enjoy the holidays, enjoy this time, either like either if you are with family or if you're by yourself. Make sure to take a break because it's been a year. Like, I don't know if it's been a year for everybody else, but it's been a year. So like, take a break, take it easy, and I will see you next time. Bye, y'all.